Most Porsche owners are quietly using their car's best features the wrong way, and the worst part is that nothing ever warns them. There is no light on the dash for a habit that is slowly heating a gearbox, glazing a set of brakes, or wearing an engine before its time, and because none of it feels wrong in the moment, owners keep doing it for years. These are not obscure functions buried in a menu. They are the everyday features you use without thinking: the drive modes, the launch control, the cleaning routine, the way you treat the engine when it is cold, and most of them are being used in a way Porsche never intended. The good news is that every single one is free to fix the moment you understand it, and your car will feel better and last longer for it. None of these are about driving slowly or babying the car. They are simply about using each feature the way it was actually engineered to be used. So in this video, we are breaking down 10 Porsche features that owners commonly use the wrong way, and exactly how to use each one properly, counting down to the single most damaging habit of all. Let us start at number 10. Number 10. Cleaning the screen and interior with the wrong things. This is the one that quietly ruins the inside of beautiful cars, and almost nobody realizes they are doing it. The central touchscreen wears a delicate anti-glare and anti-fingerprint coating, and the moment you attack it with a household glass cleaner and a paper towel, you begin stripping that coating away, leaving permanent cloudy smears no polish will ever bring back. The same goes for the cabin. Ammonia-based cleaners dry out and crack leather, the wrong product turns Alcantara into a matted, shiny mess, and a rough cloth scratches the piano black trim with fine swirls. People reach for whatever they use on the windows at home and treat a hand-finished interior like a kitchen worktop. The right way costs almost nothing. Use a clean, slightly damp microfiber cloth for the screen, with a dedicated screen-safe spray only if you truly need it, and never spray liquid directly onto the display. Use proper leather and interior products on the seats and trim. Brush Alcantara gently with a soft brush rather than scrubbing it, and keep separate clean cloths for glass and for surfaces. Get this wrong and you are looking at a cracked, cloudy, swirled interior and, in the worst case, a four-figure screen replacement. A useful trick is to keep a small kit in the car: a couple of clean microfiber cloths, a screen-safe spray, and a proper interior cleaner, so you are never tempted to grab the wrong bottle in a hurry. Get it right, and the cabin still looks showroom fresh a decade later. Number 9. Living in Sport or Sport Plus every single day. This is the habit the keen owners fall into the moment they discover how good it feels, and it is genuinely working against the car in daily driving. Sport Plus is built for an open road and a committed drive. It holds lower gears, raises the idle, sharpens the throttle to a hair trigger, and most importantly, it tells the dual-clutch gearbox to behave aggressively, slipping and grabbing its clutches harder at low speed. Run that in stop-start traffic all day, every day, and you are pouring unnecessary heat into the most expensive component in the car for absolutely no benefit, because you are crawling at 30, not attacking a mountain pass. It also hammers your fuel economy and makes the car tiring and jerky to drive smoothly in town. The right way is simple. Leave the car in its normal mode for commuting and traffic, where it is smoother, cooler, and more economical, and save Sport and Sport Plus for the roads and the moments that actually deserve them. Better still, build an individual profile that keeps a sharp throttle if you like it while leaving the gearbox and suspension in their relaxed settings, so you get the response you enjoy without making the transmission pay for it mile after mile. Think of the drive modes as tools for specific jobs rather than a single right answer, because the same setting that makes the car magnificent on a flowing road makes it tiring, thirsty, and needlessly hot in a supermarket car park, and matching the mode to the moment is exactly how the people who keep these cars for decades drive them. Number 8. Treating launch control as a party trick. Launch control is one of the most thrilling things a modern Porsche can do, and that is exactly why it gets abused. Owners discover the brutal, head-snapping acceleration and then perform it again and again to impress passengers, often from cold, sometimes several times in an afternoon. Every one of those launches sends an enormous shock load through the clutches, the mounts, the axles, and the driveline, and Porsche rates the dual-clutch gearbox for only a finite number of these maximum effort starts across its entire life. Doing them cold, before the oil and the drivetrain are up to temperature, multiplies the wear dramatically and is exactly how owners turn a party trick into a repair bill. The right way is to treat launch control as the special occasion feature it was designed to be. Make sure the engine and transmission are fully warm, make sure you genuinely have the space and the conditions, and then use it sparingly, for the experience, not as a habit. Done occasionally and warm, it is a wonderful, durable feature. Done constantly and cold, it quietly eats the most expensive parts of your car, and the damage never shows up until the day something lets go. A good test is to ask yourself whether this launch is for the drive or for an audience, because the car can tell the difference even when your passengers cannot, and used as the rare, deliberate thrill it was built to be, it stays reliable for years, which is a far better outcome than one hero moment followed by a clutch you can hear slipping. Number 7. Letting auto stop-start fend for itself in the wrong moments. The automatic stop-start system that shuts the engine off at a standstill is there to save fuel and emissions, and in steady traffic, it does its job perfectly well. The trouble is leaving it to operate in exactly the situations it handles worst. Every restart puts a small load on the starter and the battery and briefly runs the engine without full oil pressure, and that matters far more when the engine is still cold and barely warmed through, or when you are inching forward in a tight car park or nudging into a parking space and the engine keeps cutting out and firing back up every few seconds. The right way is to take control of it. When the engine is cold on a winter morning, or when you are maneuvering at low speed, simply press the button to switch stop-start off until conditions suit it, then let it work normally on a warm engine in steady traffic where it genuinely helps. It is not that the system is bad, it is that blindly leaving it on in every situation puts needless cycles on the engine and the battery at exactly the times they are least able to take them. The feature also depends on a healthy, correctly specified battery to work without fault, so an aging or wrongly fitted battery makes the whole system behave erratically and adds even more strain, and a few seconds spent switching it off when conditions are wrong turns it back into a genuine help rather than a quiet source of wear. Number 6. Misusing the adjustable suspension because you think firm is always better. Porsche's active suspension gives you a button that switches between a comfort setting and a firmer sport setting, and a huge number of owners simply leave it in the firm sport mode permanently, convinced that stiffer must always mean faster and better. On a smooth, billiard table road it can, but on a real, broken, bumpy road the opposite is true. A suspension that is too firm for the surface skips and crashes over imperfections. The tires lose contact with the road, and you actually end up with less grip, a worse ride, and more wear on the dampers and the chassis, all while believing you are driving the car as intended. The right way is to let the road decide. On a poor or bumpy surface, leave the suspension in its softer comfort setting, which keeps the tires pressed into the road and gives you both a better ride and genuinely more grip. Save the firm sport setting for smooth, fast roads and the track, where the body control it actually pays off. The car gave you 2 settings for a reason, and using only one of them throws away half of what you paid for. Firmer is a tool for control on a smooth surface, not a badge of how seriously you take your driving, so read the road in front of you. Choose the setting that keeps the tires planted, and you will end up both more comfortable and genuinely quicker on the roads you actually drive. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Number 5. Never using the front axle lift, or worse, riding around on it. If your Porsche has the front axle lift feature, it exists to raise the nose of the car to clear steep driveways, speed bumps, and car park ramps, protecting that expensive front lip from the scrape that makes every owner wince. Yet so many owners either forget it is there and grind the splitter on the same ramp every single day, or they misunderstand it and try to drive around with the nose raised as though it were an off-road setting. Both are wrong. Scraping the front again and again does slow, costly cosmetic damage, while the lift system is only designed to raise the car at low speed to clear an obstacle, not to be held up as you drive. The right way is to use it deliberately, lifting the nose as you approach that tricky ramp or bump, then letting it settle back down once you are clear, and on the cars that offer it, saving the location to memory so the car lifts itself automatically every time you reach your own driveway. Used properly, it quietly saves you from the single most common and most avoidable piece of damage on the whole car. It is worth practicing the timing once or twice on your own driveway so that raising the nose becomes second nature rather than an afterthought. You remember a beat too late, because a scraped front lip is one of the most demoralizing and needless costs of Porsche ownership, and this one feature, used properly, removes it almost entirely. Number 4. Ignoring wet mode when the road is streaming. Many modern Porsches include a dedicated wet driving mode, and an astonishing number of owners with the button right in front of them have never once pressed it, either not understanding what it does or dismissing it as a gimmick. It is anything but. The car actually listens for water thrown up into the wheel arches and warns you when it detects a genuinely wet road, and engaging the mode then retunes the throttle response, the stability and traction systems, and the aerodynamics to give you the best possible stability in conditions where grip is at its worst. Leaving it switched off in heavy rain, simply because you always drive in the normal setting, throws away a layer of safety the engineers built specifically for that moment. The right way is to use it exactly when it is meant for. When the road is streaming, the spray is flying, and you can feel the surface going greasy. Press the wet mode button and let the car sharpen its reflexes for you. It costs you nothing. It takes one press, and it works hardest precisely when you are most at risk of an expensive or dangerous moment. Get into the habit of reaching for it the instant the rain turns heavy, rather than waiting until you have already felt the back of the car move, because the whole point of the system is to prepare the car before you reach the limit, not to rescue you after. Number 3. Riding the brakes down a long descent instead of letting the gears do the work. This is a habit drivers bring from ordinary cars and never think to question, and on a fast, heavy Porsche, it is genuinely damaging. Sitting on the brake pedal the whole way down a long hill builds enormous heat in the discs and pads, and that heat boils the fluid, glazes the pads, and can warp the discs, leaving you with a soft, fading pedal at exactly the moment you most need the brakes to be there. Your Porsche has a far better tool for this, and it is the gearbox. The right way is to use engine braking, dropping the transmission into a lower gear, either by selecting manual mode and pulling the paddle, or by using the manual gate, so the engine itself holds the car back down the descent and the brakes stay cool and ready for when you genuinely need them. It is exactly how every performance driver descends a mountain road. It saves your brakes from expensive heat damage, and it gives you far more control, because a car held by its gearing is settled and stable in a way a car hanging on its overheating brakes never is. On a long descent, the difference is dramatic, because the driver riding the brakes arrives at the bottom with a soft pedal and a burning smell, while the driver using the gears arrives with brakes that are still cool, sharp, and ready for whatever comes next. Number 2. Filling up with cheap regular fuel instead of the premium your engine needs. It feels like a harmless way to save a few dollars, and it is quietly costing you power, economy, and long-term engine health every single mile. Porsche engines are designed with high compression and, on many models, turbocharging, and they are calibrated to run on high-octane premium fuel. Feed them cheaper, lower-octane fuel, and the knock sensor detects the engine starting to detonate and protects it by pulling back the ignition timing, which robs you of power, raises combustion temperatures, and hurts your economy, all silently, with no warning light to tell you it is happening. Over years, that extra heat and the poorer combustion take a toll. The right way is to always use the high-octane premium fuel the manufacturer specifies, ideally from a quality, well-known brand whose detergent additives also keep the fuel system and the intake clean. The few cents a gallon you would save with the cheap stuff is a false economy, because you give back the power you paid for, you burn more fuel to do the same work, and you add years of unnecessary heat and carbon to an engine that deserves far better. If you ever genuinely cannot find the right grade on a long trip, the engine will protect itself well enough to get you home. But that is an emergency measure, not a routine, so make quality premium fuel your default at every fill, and you never give the knock sensor a reason to start quietly stealing your performance. Number 1. Driving the engine hard before it is properly warm. After everything else on this list, the single most damaging habit, and the one that costs nothing at all to fix, is how you treat the engine in its first few minutes. When a Porsche has sat overnight, the oil has drained down from the upper parts of the engine, and what remains is thick and slow to circulate, so for those first miles, the moving parts are at their most vulnerable. Owners who jump in, fire it up, and immediately use the throttle hard, chasing revs while the engine is stone cold, are dragging metal across metal with the thinnest possible film of protection, and doing it over years is exactly how engines quietly wear out early. Yet there is no warning, because the car feels perfectly willing to reverse. The right way is patience for just a few minutes. After a cold start, pull away gently and keep the revs sensible, well below the point where it gets exciting, and crucially watch the oil temperature gauge rather than the coolant gauge, because oil takes far longer to reach its proper temperature than coolant does. Only once the oil is genuinely warm do you ask the engine for everything it has. The same patience pays off in reverse at the end of a hard drive, especially on the turbocharged cars, where a short idle before shutdown lets the oil carry heat away from the turbo instead of baking onto it. It is completely free. It asks nothing but a little discipline, and it is the single biggest reason some of these engines sail past 300,000 miles while others, driven hard from cold, are worn out at half the distance. So there are the 10 features and the 10 habits to fix. From the cleaning products quietly ruining your interior and the screen, to living in Sport Plus, abusing launch control, leaving stop-start to fend for itself, and locking the suspension in its firmest setting, through forgetting the axle lift, ignoring wet mode, riding the brakes downhill, and feeding the engine cheap fuel. Right up to the big one, working a cold engine hard. Notice the thread running through all of them, because not one requires a tool, a part, or a trip to the dealer. They simply require you to understand what Porsche actually built these features to do, and then to use them that way. Fix even a few of these and your car will drive better, last longer, and cost you less, which is exactly what these features were designed to deliver in the first place. None of it asks you to enjoy the car any less. In fact, most of these habits make the car nicer to live with day to day. They simply ask you to use its brilliant engineering with intent, rather than on autopilot. And that small shift in awareness is what separates a Porsche that is merely owned from one that is truly understood. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.